Hello, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. It's in the middle of the night, but that doesn't matter. Okay, I've managed to get Kenny and Philly Kerman back home, and I've already taken 2 new contracts, because one of them is plant a flag on the moon, and the other is land on the moon. So I've finally gotten a request to actually go to the moon, which I've been kind of waiting for. So I'm going to get R&D. I've got 94 science. So I'm just wondering if there's a 94 science thing that I can get that's going to help me. I'm beginning to think no, not really. Specifically. There's those little engines, but I don't think I'm going to use them. I might want to use the 48-7S, not sure. About half the thrust that it used to have. Advanced construction, that gives me the radial decouplers and the hydraulic detachment manifold, which are better than, I technically still have contracts to test those. But they're, I had issues with my previous thing, and they wasn't able to get the boosters away quickly enough before smashing into the rest of my rocket. So I might want that. Advanced flight control, that's all RCS stuff. Although, the advanced inline stabilizer does appeal. Maybe the lander can. Might be an idea, actually. Miniaturization, you get the first of the docking ports, you get the little tiny docking port. And adapters for very small rocket parts. So if I wanted to do a full-on Apollo 11 thing where you have a separate lander, you've got the thing that gets you into orbit and is going to take you back from the moon. So it gets you from Kerbal to the moon, and then the bit that's going to take you from the moon back stays in orbit, and then the lander goes down. That means that the fuel that you are going to take, that is going to take you from the moon back to Kerbal, stays in orbit and doesn't go into the moon's gravity well, which is a bit of a pain. You think about it, you've got to, that's fuel you're hefting around that you're not actually going to be using until you get it into orbit. So might as well keep that in orbit is the theory. But I don't want to try docking without RCS. That is just going to be a pain in the everything, I think. So I don't think those two, apart from the advanced inline stabilizer, I quite like the thought of. What do I have at the minute? Got these ones. So these have a maximum torque of 5, and these have a torque of 15. That's quite a lot more. So that's I think that is if I'm going to pick one thing that's going to be of use to me, I think that's the one thing I'm going to want. I want that one so bad. But that's 160 science, I don't have that yet. Yes, desperately, I definitely want the mobile processing lab as soon as. And the next thing after that is I'm going to start wanting these scanning modules, and then I'm going to start to want this stuff, and in fact I think I'm going to, I was about to say I would want to aim towards that more than I want to aim towards science, in fact, because being able to get these that means that I'm then able to generate fuel anywhere, and that's going to make life a lot easier getting around the solar system. So with my 90 science, I can get one thing, and I think the one thing I'm going to get is this. It's got the RCS stuff, which I don't think I'm going to use. And I might use the land can, but the advanced inline stabilizer, I think we're going to want that. So, okay, what are we going to take to the moon? We're going to take a rocket ship to the moon. Is what we're going to take. Steel Snake is on my list of project names. So Steel Snake, I think it is. Let's see what state there. Okay. Now, let's okay. So first things first, call it Steel Snake. Bit of an odd thing to send to the moon, but it's the next one on the list. So there you go. Now, lightweight atmospheric, non-atmospheric layer, single occupant features novel full-body crumpled zone technology. So our options are, I think. Well, let's start. I think this is what I have to do is I work backwards. The lander can is not what's going to be coming back from the moon. This is what's going to be coming back from the moon. Let us be clear, that's what we're going to be dealing with. So that is what's coming back. And Jebediah is like the one who automatically gets put in, but I think I'm going to try and put Valentina in. Right, so that's what's going to the moon. So I don't think I'm going to do anything fancy schmancy. So this is what's coming back. This is what's going to be crashing through the atmosphere and not dying. Because I decided not to get battery packs. Battery packs? What am I talking about? Because I decided not to get docking ports. What am I like? I'm not going to be doing. How big is that? It's plenty. Because in the docking ports, I'm not going to be doing the other. I'm not going to be doing the thing with the thing and the what am I talking about? I'm not going to be doing a separate lander. I'm not going to be doing that separate lander. So we're going to slap now. Okay, so we need to get back from the Mun. So this is going to be. I'm going to grab my Delta V planner. Mission planner. Trash that. I probably didn't want to trash that. I think I actually wanted that. So I have to do the mission planning forwards, whereas I do the rocket building backwards. So this is possibly something I could have done ahead of time. We're going to then we're going to go to the moon orbit, and then Kerbal. I'm assuming things like Kerbal orbit. Well, let's not go for all this. Let's go straight to land. Okay, so the takeoff and landing is $940. So take this off atmospheric body Mun. I'm just going to pick a thing. Oh, oh no. I'm going to stack the Kerbal. And my brain will stop at that point. Engines, that's what I want. I want an engine. Good old 909. I think that's actually pretty much. Oh, that's a mountain of Delta V. Okay, we'll go down one more. Because, to be honest, the smaller I can make this stage, the better. Not quite enough. Oh, actually no, I can take, because I'm not using the monocrop, so I'm giving the monocrop. How much does that make a difference? It does make a tiny bit of difference, because of the different amount of weights. I think it's still going to be no. Okay, so this is actually going to be slightly over prepped. That's probably a good thing, quite frankly. So this is going to be taking off from the moon and heading back home. Okay. Do I have utility? Let's chuck some maps on. Quick check that this is not changing the center of mass at all. I don't think it does. Yeah. Landing lengths I've got quite good landing lengths. I don't have the mic. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I don't think at any point I've gone deliberately for landing struts, but I do have some. So that's all right. Now the ladder is probably not all that vitally necessary, given that the Kerbal Noughts have quite good RCS packs, so they can actually just jump up and they'll probably be able to grab this, so it won't be that much of a problem. Right, so now we need to deal with something that is going to land, and I only need about 630 for the lander. So what I used to do, right, so this is going to come off. I'll just use the radial decouplers that I already have, as opposed to using any of the experimental ones. Stage for those four. That's tons and tons and tons and tons. Now I want to take some science along. One other possibility is I actually take a faintly ridiculous amount of fuel. Instead of just taking this relatively small amount of fuel. Not sure. I'm trying to work out, are they actually going to be ejected by the decouplers? Because I'm not entirely sure they are. I'm not sure that they're attached the right way. I think we're going to, for once, I think I might do a test. Anyway, if I do, the obvious way is to just put a whole bunch of things like that on, which does, you know, bring my delta V way down, which is fine. Maybe go to more utility, put some legs on, and then start them deployed, because you look at this and you think that looks like a lander, but I don't actually need them to be anything like that high up. You just, you know, the tendency is to just grab, you put the legs right on the bottom because that's where legs go. But actually, so long as there's clearance down the bottom, I think the higher up you can put your legs, the better, because that way you're going to have more of a center of mass. Your center of mass is going to be lower, you know. Whereas if I put them down here, the center of mass is going to be correspondingly higher. And this should allow me to land on slopier areas. I'm not putting that on anything yet. So this is, I'm beginning to think this is my lander. Because I don't like the fact that I've got 8 million, I now have all these Science Juniors that I'm just probably not going to use. The other way, if I remember what I've done before, is put a Science Junior underneath that, but then you get a very tall lander, even if you then put, you know, things around the side of it. If I had things I could guarantee with the same weight as a Science Junior, I could put one thing on each of these pods, or something. I may have to think about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to save it, and we're going to have a launch. We're going to have a test of it. There's a few more things that I'm going to want to do. Oh, it's night time. Great time to do a test. Because obviously, I mean, eventually I'm going to... So as you can see, you know, there's clearance there. So there's space. So I want to see whether or not this thing will... Right, we're going to... what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the thrust on all of these. Because this is just a test. And I don't actually want to go anywhere. So the question is whether I can, so I can stay flat and we won't go anywhere. For now, throttle up. Hopefully, those will go and then this will be able to take off on its own. Now, it might not be working, and that's probably fine because the thrust-to-weight ratios maybe not enough. I think that's a successful test. And I don't know whether it's going to crash every time I recover the vessel. Going crashes. That's quite annoying. Okay, that seems to work. Didn't work on. I mean, it didn't lift off because it was on Kerbal. I think it should have lifted off even on Kerbal. I have a sneaking suspicion that means that it didn't work at all. Ah. I don't think it's actually attaching to the... I think it's attaching directly to the ship and not to the... Oh, for goodness sake. I think it's attaching directly to the ship and not to the... not to them. So I'm going to semi-cheat. And I'm going to grab... It's going to give me a wider wheelbase anyway. This. Alrighty then. Now, of course, this is all giving me the problem that I have to reset this thing. Right, I'm going to not launch because I seem to crash absolutely every single time I attempt to recover a vessel, so I'm not quite sure what to do about that. Now, of course, this is all causing the problem that this is going to be a wildly unaerodynamic thing. Anyway, so it seems to not. Oh, I know. I think no, I don't know what's going on. It's not accepting those as Oh, hang on. No, I'm just trying to wait. It thinks that there's only. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to work out why it was only giving me stats for stage 2, and that's because those the decouplers were in the same place as in the staging. The decouplers were going at the same time that the engines were going, so those engines would fire and they would immediately come off. What I want. I should probably do another test, but I don't want to. it's just going to. I mean, it just seems to crash immediately. Now I'm going to move the legs again. Oh no. Just want things to be nice and symmetrical. Okay, so I'm going to have way too many. Oh, there's got to be a better way of doing this. Because unless I'm going to deliberately, I'm going to like take this from biome to biome to biome, which I would love to be able to do. I mean, that'll be great. What body are we on? You know, I would deeply love to be able to take this from biome to biome, and then do, you know, a materials bay at each biome. I'm not going to be able to do that. So that's silly. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to take that away. Oh Lord, that looks ugly. Doing it like that looks absolutely appalling. Oh no. Grab that side. So the other option is unfortunately ending up with a very tall lander like that. And we can actually, yeah, okay. Plug that on literally long enough to... We at that point don't need all the decoupling is happening down the bottom here. So long as these are all connected to the decoupler, as long as these are this bottom section, if I move these too high up, they may get attached to the engine, which I don't want them to be. I want them to be attached to the decoupler. Those legs look utterly ugly like that. And we move that into there. All right. That is a stupid looking thing. Oh, there's got to be a better way of doing it than this. Oh, come on. Right, no point in putting on a barometer. We do want goo. We do want a thermometer. I don't even know if that helps. Make it slightly more aerodynamic as it's going through. It does make it look slightly less hideous. Because it looked pretty hideous before. I realise it looks isn't necessarily. That looks better actually. You know, looks isn't. I shouldn't be going. I don't like the look of that. You know. I should check to see how far ahead in the science tree before I start getting 2.5 meter fairing. So I think a 2.5 meter fairing would be a lovely thing to have at this point. Oh Lord. And then somehow I'm going to have to mount this whole thing on a rocket. I'm just going to call it the still state lander. Let's save that. Right, so that's land design. So I think I'm just going to call it there as an episode. We've already had at least one crash, so it's going to keep it relatively short. So as I add more ladders, let's see if we can add more ladders and talk at the same time. Oh, you can't add ladders to those bits. Oh, great. Oh well, he's just going to have to fly up. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos and you want to see the rest of this mission when I try and work out how on earth I'm going to get this attached to an actual rocket that's going to take it into... Oh man, I need to get this from orbit to the moon, from Kerbal to the moon. So I need to make a transfer stage and then an orbit stage. So if you want to watch all that, then hit like and subscribe. And you can find Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com, and we're also on Twitter and Facebook. And until next time, reach for the stars.